Oh, look at that. That's my timer from last
Why
night.
is your timer on 20 hours?
That's from last night.
Get your life together. His timer's on 20 hours. Come on
Oh,
now.
wow. That is actually... What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Inside Our Football. Of course, you hopped on this episode. You clicked on it for one person, only one name. It's Coach Axel. Of course, this episode, honestly, as we were preparing it, in my mind was just an episode for Washington, and just pack like this is your episode. Of course, this is somebody that you know a lot, love and admire, and I am so glad to have Coach Axel, Coach at Pack Northwest, and also with Washington EPD on the podcast. Hi, how's it going, Coach?
Pretty good, David. Thanks, man. I'm excited to be here. I feel more like I'm in the presence of a celebrity than anything else. So thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, I'm happy to have you. I'm thankful because I remember you. I think you were the first coach I asked. That one night when I was asking coaches, before I got around all the coaches. Even the same night, I was rejected by one coach, and one coach accepted. I was rejected by another coach I was standing right next to us that same night.
Who was that?
Eugene.
Oh, that makes sense though. He's camera shy.
He's camera shy.
He's camera shy. He's camera shy.
What's it called? That day, you were the first person I asked, and last year I told you, Coach, you're going to be the first person I ever bring, the first ever coach I bring on a podcast. And whoever I was talking to, I was just having agreements, but I was telling them you won't come into a Coach Axel comes. And I'm so glad to have you here. It gives an opportunity for people that know you as a coach to get to know you even just beyond the coach that you are. You get to know you as a person. What makes Coach Axel this great, this amazing? It makes it for the people that know you from afar to get to know you and what your philosophy as a coach is and how you view the game. Maybe they don't have a chance to be coached by you, but they get to have input from you. You get to know what it's like to be coached by Coach Axel here. And
you almost said Pedro. Now I know who you really wanted to have on the podcast first.
I texted him yesterday.
Now I know.
He was on my mind because we texted yesterday.
Okay.
But he's not here. You're here.
That's true.
Yeah, making him a bigger legend than Coach Pedro and any other coach.
He's a little busier than I am. A little harder to get a hold of. But yeah, honestly, I'll take it. Anytime I can get
I'll move heaven and earth to have great coaches like you on the podcast. So perfect. I'm happy to have you. And I have to start from the very beginning. And of course, after looking at everything you've done in football, the first question is when did it all start? And when did you get into football?
In general, soccer, playing everything? Oh man. Go way back. I cannot remember a time that I wasn't kicking a soccer ball.
Yeah.
Truly. I think the best memory I have was like when I was really little. Yeah. So, my mom was born in Norway. So, of course, my grandparents lived there and I'd been to visit many times and all this. And at the time there's two famous brothers from Norway. Yeah. Called the Flo brothers. Okay. And we were actually family friends with their like extended family. They live way up in middle of nowhere, Norway. Anyways, so I always had dreams, just like every other person, of like representing, the U.S. Yeah. But also, I couldn't help but want to represent Norway as well because they were maybe a little more famous and I won't say played better soccer, but had done more things in soccer at the time. So I was a little kid and we had this little spot in the yard where I would kind of emerge from the bushes. Like it was a tunnel. I'm serious. Yeah, I'm dead serious. And my grandpa would sit, and this was like before I played on any team. I was just kicking a ball around, and my grandpa would sit on the bench in the yard, and he'd announce, oh, here's Axel coming out to represent both the U.S. and Norway, the first player ever to represent both teams in the World Cup final and stuff. And so it's just always been, soccer's always been a really happy place for me. Something that I love, something that I can't explain it. From day one, like I said, there's never been a time that I haven't been kicking a ball or wanted to do something involved with the sport. So.
Have you ever imagined yourself like doing another sport, like hooping?
Oh, I've totally played. I played other sports growing up. I played loads of sports. I'm way too competitive to not play other sports.
Really?
Yeah, I was really good at baseball growing up. I played basketball.
Okay.
I was not very good.
Can't shoot or can't dribble?
I'm very average sized.
Okay.
So there are problems that come with that. You're tall, so maybe you could do both, but me, it doesn't happen.
Yeah. I got cut from my high school basketball team, so I don't know about that.
Yeah, I've seen you jump. That makes sense. that was my problem. I mean, I just like you get good at what you spend your time doing. So like, obviously I didn't get good at basketball because I wasn't spending a lot of time doing it. I was pretty good at baseball. You know, I played football at recess and stuff. I mean, I'm sure you know, but I was big into like competitive video games and everything. So yeah, I've done everything in terms of sports stuff. I've played it all. I play pickleball. I go play tennis with my wife. Like, I get unhealthily competitive about things, but soccer, I think always from day one was like the thing.
And by the way, I know it's 2 years late, but congratulations on your marriage.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I know we're 2 years late, but you know, it still goes.
It's the first time we're congratulating somebody on a marriage on the podcast.
Huh? Yeah.
So you had to take advantage of that.
yes. The next person we'll congratulate is our cameraman Rajan when he gets married.
Oh man, is it coming soon?
With the way he talks to girl.
No, not at all.
But no.
I'll bookmark it.
5 or 6 years. Okay, we'll be there. But of course, all of that has led to you eventually playing. You know, as you were getting older and all. What you recall? What position you mostly played when you were younger?
When I was younger, I mean, I've played literally every position.
Wow. Okay.
When I got a little older, I think it was a lot of center mid. If I was on the more competitive teams, it was a lot of outside back. Okay. I think I was always good at a lot of things and good at adjusting to different teams and what was needed. So I played a lot of different positions. Like how quickly I learned from a coach was helpful, but I was never good enough at one thing to be the man. You know, I was never Messi, who you built the team around. I was always the guy helping that guy. Yeah. So growing up, I played a lot, but I think center mid was really the thing that I gravitated towards and liked and wanted to play more of and got the chance to play as I got a little bit older. But again, it depended on the team.
It's intriguing how many really good coaches come from just playing in midfield.
It's a hard position.
It's a hard position. You got to be smart, control, just tempo offensively and defensively too. Of course, later on, you went on to coach, but I want to ask, as you were playing, was there ever someone that inspired you to end up ever coaching, or where did you get that inspiration to coach?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Who was it?
I mean, come on, it's my coworker, my man, Coach Pedro.
Coach Pedro?
Yeah, of course. So, you know, when you are playing, and we do it at PAC as well, we get older kids to come be assistants and help coach, and there's summer camps and all this stuff. And Pedro used to run summer camps every summer, and they were really fun, super cool. I'm sure that half of the stuff that we did with camps now you probably wouldn't be allowed to do in terms of, have kids run through the middle and everybody shooting balls at them. It was really fun. But we did a lot of stuff like that, and it's just seeing the love for the game that somebody has kind of brings you further and further in the game. And I picked that up a lot from him. And he gave me kind of the first chance to go do a lot of that stuff. Of, hey, come be a mentor to somebody else. There's a lot of other figures. Played for a coach named Anthony Sarden. He's a director at Snohomish now. At the time, he was an assistant coach at Seattle University, I believe. And he had me help with a couple camps here and there, just different things. And that's kind of the story of how you go from player to coach, right? Is one day you wake up and you go, all right, well, I'm not very good at this anymore, or I'm not as good as I want to be. I might be a good coach. Let's go for it. And so that's kind of where that came from, was just, I wasn't ready to be done with the game as a whole. But the writing on the wall was telling me to go do it. And because I still had the love that had kind of been instilled early on, I wanted to keep doing it.
Because I want to ask, you started, of course, getting mentored by many coaches to who you say you were looking up to. You recall the first ever team that you started coaching?
Yeah, of course.
What
team was of course. Well, so again, I had done a bunch of camps. So kind of like most players do, you help out here, help out there. You're just involved, make some money, you referee, you coach camps, whatever. And then I got offered basically to coach Eastlake High School. It was a freshman and sophomore team. Okay. So it's all the little guys. And I think at that time I was maybe 19 or 20 and still at college. And I broke my ankle right before I took over the team. And so it was like perfect timing, one door closed and another very clearly opened. And so Yeah, we had it went from me having a midlife crisis with the injury and not knowing what I was going to do, and I wanted to quit before I even started. Yeah. And turned into a really good year. They got me hooked on it. By the end of next year, I was like sitting there in my college classes, writing notes on what I was going to do at practice and making sure that, you know, I was prepared for what I was going to do, you know, just excited and ignoring my college work, which probably wasn't the best, but
making a game plan.
Yeah, but you got to do what you got to do. Yeah. So yeah, I coached there for 2 years. The first year I shared the role with another guy. He didn't stick around for the next year. Okay. I can't imagine working with me early on was easy. Okay. I'm pretty opinionated.
What do you say that?
I'm stubborn. Okay. And I tend to be okay telling people when they're wrong. It's one of the qualities of a coach. You get the privilege to tell people your opinion all the time. Yeah. Or a lot of the time. But I can totally see where, you know, if I was younger than him, he probably wasn't happy about that.
I understand. But I want to know, how much did you just love the experience of coaching that first team?
Oh, dude, it's what got me hooked. I mean, honestly, again, I think some of the timing was there of the injury and everything, but the biggest thing was, it's hard to explain, but like, you know, when you make a friend and you have that one moment where you realize they want to be your friend too. Yeah. That's what coaching is like. Oh, wow. Coaching is like, you know, when you tell a player, hey, I see this is happening. I want you to try this. First off, them trusting you enough to go do that kind of blindly feels really good. And then number two, when they maybe fail or try again, or it takes them a little bit to figure it out. Okay, then they go get it right. And how happy they are as a player when they've made that improvement, when they've turned a corner or you know, learned a new skill or learned a new concept or anything because of something I've given them. Yes. That's the best feeling in the world. Somebody else succeeding because of help that I gave, it's a drug, dude. Truly, it's amazing. It's such a good feeling.
It sounds beautiful. Yeah. Honestly, it sounds beautiful. I'll be lying if I said I never thought about coaching.
Yeah, you want to try?
I thought about that. I literally want to try and go ahead and coach. At times, even in games with my teammates, I'll maybe coaches like a certain player, maybe because of certain thing I see like mid game, like it'll be halftime or it'll be in middle of the game, and I think it's those moments when mid game, what's it called? I see maybe something, you know, because as a center back, you're sitting there, you're seeing the whole field, and as things play out, you have a certain, you know, just you have time to think, you have time to reflect, and it's those type of moment that made me think about becoming a coach. But what I'm here today is really to find out more about you and what makes a great coach. What do you but I want to also know on how you view players. And the question I have for you is, what do you think separates a good player from a great one?
There's a lot of different things. Obviously, the ability. Yes, that's an easy one that everybody can see. Yeah. But I kind of remind myself of something whenever I think about that. Okay. So if we go to a field, you and I, and we watch, and maybe we bring your whole team or my whole team, or we bring 10 other guys. Yes. And we watch. The best player is going to be easy. Everybody can see who Messi is, or, you know, if you go to a field and Cristiano Ronaldo's there, everybody sees that guy. Yes. You know, everybody goes to the field and notices the top one player. Yeah. But number 2, number 3, number 4 on the field, those are good players too. Those are fantastic players, probably. Seeing what those players do is the real tell, in my opinion. Because, okay, Messi has obviously worked hard in his career. I'm not taking anything away. But there are billions of people on planet Earth that no matter how hard they work, can never do what he does. Ever. Yeah. Ever. The window's closed. The moment is gone for them. And so, for me, good players, no matter what their skill set is, first and foremost, care about the game. They are intense in every moment of the game. They care about doing well in this moment, in that moment, in the next moment, in the moment after. And all they want to do is their best or better than the opponent in that moment. And then they think about the next moment and the next moment. So it's always a competitive and intense, how do I get an advantage over the guy next to me or girl next to me? How do I do that? what do I have to do to make that happen?
Yeah.
Because anybody who's doing that is going to improve their skill, is going to improve their decision making, is going to get bigger, stronger, faster. All those things that we talk about, the tools that we talk about a good player having, those are going to come from that base level of love for the sport and then base level of desire to compete.
Okay.
That's it.
I see that. I want to know now, what are the core principles of coaching philosophy when it comes down to developing a player?
So like me coaching a player or me coaching a team?
Let's
like go, style of play or like philosophy of how I help a player improve?
Let's go with both. Why not?
Both?
Yeah.
Which one do you want first?
I want first. Let's go ahead with team, and then we'll go individual. For
team.
player.
Okay. Yeah. Team for me, it's all about being in control. I want the team to be in control of the game. Now, you can interpret that different ways. If I ask you, hey, I want you to be in control of a game, what would you think?
You want me to make proper passes and press properly and just defend, and that's how I personally think is me getting.
So there's some possession. You know, because you're a center back, you're thinking about the defending piece. You know, for me, control comes from a lot of different areas. So, you know, the easy one is we can look at examples like Man City and heavy possession-based teams and say, okay, they have a lot of the ball. The ball is the important thing in the game, or one of the most important things in the game. So they are in control. But there's a really cool stat from the most recent World Cup. And I think it was like 40 or 45%. It was definitely less than 50%. Less than 50% of the teams that had more possession won the game. So what I'm basically, to simplify that, less possession was more likely to get you a win during the World Cup.
Okay.
So if we talk about possession as control, we're missing a whole other side of the coin. So to be clear, there's a defensive side of control as well. And I'm happy that you said pressing, because it can be sitting low and being really in control of this space. It can be going very high and being in control up here. It can be staying aggressive in possession. It can be like Brighton. They sit their possession very deep to open space in behind. So you can do it a lot of different ways. But the biggest thing is being in control. And again, I think the control leads to the ability to replicate a process, go from step 1 to step 2 to step 3, see if it works, try it again, see if it works again. If it doesn't work, let's change it, let's make it better, so on. So for me, everything goes back to I want to be in control of the game, whether that's with a ball, without a ball, whatever.
I see that. And then what about now for the player?
For the player, this is a hard one, because every player needs something different. Every player. But ultimately, I think it boils down to 3 things. 3 really, really important things. First, there has to be a connection. You know, like I would say we've connected pretty well.
Yeah.
So I think when you come into my sessions, and I don't want to make it personal, but when you come into my sessions, I see an intensity that I don't see from you in other sessions. And that's not me disrespecting you. That's not me disrespecting other coaches or anything. But I think we have a really good personal connection. We talk all the time. We always say hello to each other. I'm here in your house. My goodness, this is amazing, right? This is cool. You don't do this for every coach. Not everybody does this. And that connection leads somebody to be able to challenge. And that's the second piece. So when you come into my practice and I yell at you, or I get into you, or I tell you you're doing something wrong, or I tell you, hey, you need to do this. This is the right way. Because we're connected, I've built up enough social credit with you that you take that to heart. You go, okay, coach, I got you. I know that you have my best interest in heart. So I'm gonna take this and apply it. And then the last piece, because when you do that, you know, you connect and then you challenge somebody, you run the risk of pushing them too hard. If I'm hard on you and I'm always asking more and I'm always getting into you, there's not a lot of people that can take that day in, day out, moment to moment. You also need support. As much as you need something to chase and something to go after and something to challenge you, you need support. So the 3 things are, you have to connect. If you don't connect with the players, they're not going to learn as much. They're not going to want to learn as much from you. Number 2, you have to challenge your players in some way, whether that is the way I design a game in practice, how I ask them to play, little piece of advice, asking them, you know, for you as a center back, I'd say, when's the last time you scored on a corner? And why is the answer not the last game you played in. You know?
Yeah.
Because there's loads of goal scoring center backs that go up on corners.
That's true.
Get in there.
Yeah.
So see, I'm challenging you. I'm giving you something that you don't do all the time. And I'm saying, hey, let's go add this to your game because it's important and it's fun.
Yeah.
We love scoring.
Exactly.
And then the other piece then would be, okay, maybe I say that to you and we go a couple games and you haven't scored off corners. All right, you're going up, you're trying, you're doing your best, but you haven't scored yet. All right, now I have to support you. Clearly, you know, there's a piece missing that is from what you're doing that's preventing you from succeeding at this challenge. I have to help you improve and meet the challenge. So it's just this cycle of, you know, first you have to connect and then you just challenge and then you support and then you challenge and you support and then you challenge and you support. And when a player is uncomfortable, you need to help make them comfortable. Yeah. And then when a player is comfortable, you need to make them uncomfortable, give them new things, challenges. So it's just going back and forth between those two things, but connection is really the first thing.
Is there really like, can a team foresee success without those principles?
I mean, yes, but not over a long period of time and not again and again. I don't think those three things I think are core to any development process, whether it's me in my career, whether it's me as a coach, whether it's me as a member of a team, whether it's me as an athlete, no matter what it is, even if it's, you know, me wanting to get better at how I grocery shop. Yeah. I have to challenge myself. Okay, let's be done in 10 minutes today. Yeah. Hey, let's be more efficient. Let's keep it under $20 today or something, you know?
I do that, like the whole grocery shopping with my mother. I time.
You time it?
I always try to beat the record of 1 hour or something.
1 hour? What are you shopping for?
Because my mom, what she would do is, she's not a person that would just every week would want to go ahead and grocery shop. Okay. So what she will do is she will go grocery shop maybe for the next 2 weeks. You do a big
Costco run.
Yeah, she'll do it. Yeah, when we do a Costco, oh, thank God we haven't done a Costco run in a minute. But I seriously, and then it came to the point where with my mom, I would ask her, hey, why don't you write a list and next time we go shop, show me everything you get and how you get it. So there's
your challenge. You coached your mom. You're already doing it.
Yeah.
So you coached your mom.
Exactly. And next thing I do, you know what? Next time I don't invite her. I tell her I'm gonna go alone because I know.
See, now I don't know if you're coaching her anymore. Now you're taking away the opportunity. That's just being mean. You need to. You're losing the connection. You're losing the connection that we talked about.
But when time is sensitive, I go alone. When we're going together, I try to tell her, like it's all like per section. Like let's say they have grocery, like they have like fruits in one section, vegetables in one section. But what I always saw that she was always doing wrong is that she would write the list based on what she needed. But what I try to do with her is have her rewrite the list based on like the order, the way things are made, are set. Yeah. Instead of having like to grocery shop,
you go section by section.
Yeah, because at times was like I'll be walking with her and we're at the vegetable section. We go all the way and get a peanut butter, and we find ourselves back at the vegetable section for 2 minutes. And I found myself that is so much time wasted. So I rewrote the list. Yeah. And when we go shopping, you know.
And that's coaching. Yeah. And that's coaching. Amazing that we're using. I'm sorry to your mom for throwing her into the bus, but that's coaching, man. Yeah. Like that's it. And for a coach to apply it is good. For a team to apply it is even better. You know, player to player, like you were saying. I'm a center back. I'm going to coach the guys ahead of me. You know, that's important too. So it's one of those where any team that wants to be successful over a long period of time, I think needs to have those things to some degree. If they're not connected, they won't win. They might win once and then they hate each other. They don't want to do it again. They'll break up or I don't know. Yeah. And then if they don't have challenge, then they'll get bored or they won't improve or other things. And then if they don't have support, then they can't meet challenge. What happens when they run into something that's hard? Yes. They don't have support. You can't get through those moments.
So now in the road of developing a player, a question I have, I think it's a question and something I personally have struggled with a lot. And a lot of people struggle with, like, let's say, I'm not sure how much you're on social media with like TikTok and all that, but there's a whole like community of ballers and players, and and one thing that always comes back, two things always comes back is how to come back from injury and how to regain your confidence. I feel like, let's say, confidence wise, I think for me it's one of the like what's it called, the main thing I want to get from you as a coach is in the road to developing a player. What is your best advice? What is your best way to helping a player regain confidence?
You got me leaning forward on this one because it's a big one. Where do you, let me turn this back on you a little bit. Where do you get confidence from?
I think, like, I would, let's say, use an example that happened maybe last season. When I was playing last season, I was in the best, like, what's it called, place and best environment and all. And even from when I first started and, you know, just being put into another position, I was surprised and I had to, like, just find confidence. What would help me find confidence would just go ahead and just the little things.
Like what?
I noticed that it was the little things where in a game, I remember the exact game where I felt like my confidence that season was just back at the top.
Okay.
It's a game versus a team named Timbler. Okay. Timbler, and we played them in Portland, and yeah, it's a game where I was playing right wing back, and I made one long beautiful through ball pass to my my player,
and then you got confidence from that.
Yeah, I got confidence to just doing those little things.
So this is how confidence works. This is a scientific thing. You can go look this up. I think it's called social dominance. It's a real thing. There's a study done on this, and what they did is they took 2 mice and they put them in a tube, and they said, okay, you know, which one's gonna back out? It's like when you're driving on the street and the street is too narrow for 2 cars to pass each other. So one person has to pull off to the side of the road, or one person has to like back up and make way for the other person, right? Okay. That's social dominance. So whoever backs away first is less socially dominant, right? And where this comes from is it comes from winning the first time. If you win once, you're more likely to win again. There's actually chemicals in your brain that trigger when you do something good that say, I'm gonna do that again. Or I can do that again, or I can apply this to something else, or I can get what I need out of you know, the next situation because I have this other skill that I've applied. You know what I mean? Yeah. So this science basically shows us, I mean, kind of what we already know. That's if you perform well, you feel good. If you feel good, you're confident. You're going to perform well again. But that's the trick. Because when you get injured or you lose or whatever, what happens to your confidence then? It drops. Because if confidence is the key to perform well, where does it come from originally? And then you get this chicken and the egg, right? What comes first? Yeah, and that's where I think that coaching becomes really important. You, as a person, become really important. Where you have to train in a way that makes you confident. You have to do things in a way that makes you confident. If things are too hard, you need to back off. You need to do easier things, or you need to focus on the details so that you can do that hard thing. If I'm trying to be a good youth striker, a goal scorer, a number 9, a winger or something, and I, you know, say, hey, at the end of the season, I'm going to have 10 goals. When you go through the season, you only get 5. Did you do a bad job? Are you going to be confident next season? Maybe not. Okay, well then there's other things that go into that. Did you create enough chances? Did you get enough service? Did you, you know, do other things for your team that are important? So there's a lot that goes into it other than just that one thing. So it kind of starts to come from what we're looking at, if that makes sense. So when we train, being really specific and clear about what we want to do. So not just saying, hey, I want to score a goal, because that's a pretty vague, not specific thing. I would challenge somebody to say, hey, how do you want to score the goal? How do you want to accomplish what you want to accomplish? What are the details that go into it? You need to be clear and specific about those. And then once you have those, you go put time into those. And when you practice, you need every rep, every minute of what you're doing to be like the World Cup final. You need to go with intensity in it. And if you do those things, I promise you're probably going to do pretty well, first off. And you're going to start to see more of success, more of, hey, you know, I didn't score the goal, but I did these 3 other things that I need to do to score goals. Right. And if I keep doing these 3 things, the goals will come. And that's where, you know, being level-headed, being emotionally stable and calm, and being able to step back and put on your soccer hat and focus only on the detail, focus only on the action, focus only on the specificity of what it takes to perform, rather than focusing on the performance helps you, because that leads to a good performance. The good performance leads to confidence, and confidence hopefully leads to more.
Coach, actually, you probably just saved so many careers.
I mean, I hope.
Yeah.
I actually just had this conversation with a player last night who was asking me this, and so I went and I refreshed myself on that study, and it's pretty cool. I mean, confidence is such a weird thing, right?
Yeah.
It comes and it goes, and some days we wake up and have good days and bad days and everything. So it's you know, I stole from, I think it's Pep Guardiola, maybe Alex Ferguson. I don't think it's Alex Ferguson.
Who's your favorite between the two?
Pep.
Pep, of course.
Pep.
Yeah.
Pep. He's smarter.
Yeah.
Okay. Soccer wise is smarter. Sorry. Soccer wise is smarter.
Yeah.
Alex Ferguson as a person manager is very good.
Yeah.
But so Pep basically has kind of a personal rule for himself that whenever he comes into a game where they're losing, where things aren't going well, he won't yell and scream and shout at players and get into their emotion. He won't pull on their emotion. Yeah. He won't say you need to work hard. You're not showing heart. You know, all the things that you've, I'm sure, heard before. He only focuses on the soccer. He only focuses on, like I was saying, the detail, the specificity of what you need to do, how you position your body, where you take the ball and where it needs to go, and all those things. Yeah. And that takes some of the emotional pressure of the performance off of the player and puts it on the detail of it. I don't need to perform and get the win. I need to do things right. And if I do these processes right, then I'll get the win. Hopefully.
Yeah. Coach, that's really beautiful. So, sincerely, like I'm gonna go like tonight, because I spend maybe like hours editing, and most of the time when a part of the podcast is very good, I find myself rewatching again and again, and I'm gonna be sitting here just rewatching and re-listening to this part. I want to get back a little bit in your coaching career by asking you, could you share a memorable moments that you had in your career, in coaching career, that you had that significantly impacted you?
There's a lot.
Yeah. You want to give us a top 3 to make it easier?
Top 3. Yeah.
No, I do not just nail it to one, man. But the top 3.
I don't know. Even that is difficult.
All right.
In my coaching career, wow. There's a lot, and it ebbs and flows. There's things that I think about from time to time. One of the things that's been on my mind lately. So, you know, 2 of my current teams that I'm coaching are 2014, so they're really young. They're U10, and my second year at PAC, I had a girls team. One of the girls has gone on to be a part of a national camp and is a very, very good player. Very successful player in a lot of ways. I think she just committed to college as well, so you know, good stuff. But all the time I see her play now, and I think to myself, I let her down. Like, I could have done so much more. Like, look at how good she is, but she's not the starting center back for the national team. She's not the one. She's not on a pro contract. Why not? Well, it's partly on me. You know, sure, there's things about her that go into that, of course. You know, I'm not controlling every piece of her life. But the biggest thing that I take away from it is, you know, I had this player that clearly has what it takes to be a top player. Clearly. Great mentality, great athletic tools, you know, gifts, technically good enough. So where did it not go wrong? Because clearly she's still really successful. Yeah. Clearly. And she is. So I don't want to make it sound like she's not. But I personally, it haunts me. Because when I see a player like that and I see them do good, but not amazing. Yeah. Of course I question it, because I want them to do amazing.
Do you ever think that the player maybe, like, you're saying this, but maybe in their perspective, they kind of blame themselves and say, Axel did so much for me and I did so little. Do you think that's maybe what's going on in their mind?
No. I have a great relationship with this player. I still talk with him all the time. Yeah. Still talk with the family all the time. Love this player to death. So it's, again, to look back at it, the true answer is nobody did anything wrong. she's still a great player. She's still a great person. We all get along great. Nobody is negatively impacted because I missed a detail or didn't coach her hard enough or other things like that, right? And I hope that she had a great experience playing for me, and she's had a great experience at PAC since. And I think it shows her with her success that she has. Yeah. But the big thing, again, for me that kind of changed my perspective was all right, I have a player that clearly is this good. What else could I have done to make her even better? You know, because you have this amazing product, you have this amazing talent. What do you know, what all can you do with it? Yeah, that's the thing. So that one sticks out to me just as a what if moment of like, for me personally, not in regards to the player, but like, hey, I, as a young coach, because I coached her only my second year at PAC, was like, hey, how could I improve it? Another one that stands out is actually maybe not a big success story, but when I was I had an ECNL team, my first ECNL team in PAC. I was very excited. Which it was the 09 ECNL team. Okay. I'll speak specifically about this one because I don't feel bad about this because it's on me. All right. And at the time I was very young. The results weren't great, and the team had lost a handful of players to other clubs. They'd left, and so that's a really hard situation to be in. And at the time, I don't think, and even now, I might not have the personality and the name to like kind of Spider-Man hold it together. You know what I'm talking about? The scene where Spider-Man's holding the two pieces of the ship together. Like that's what I envision when I think of certain coaches when a team is maybe not doing too well, whether it's results or demeanor or all this stuff, right? And there was a lot that was factoring into this. People had moved, there's a lot of stuff out of our control, but there's also stuff within our control that we're doing. Clearly I wasn't doing enough. And so the idea is that, hey, they sat me, Malia and Pedro sat me down and said, hey, Pedro's going to take the team. We think it's better for him to take the team, and it helps you learn as well, because it's a really hard scenario. So it was supposed to be this really great learning experience. The club took great care of me in that way, and I value it really well, even though it's a little bit of a demotion, right? I go from being head coach of an ECNL team to an assistant, and I was of course upset in the moment, but in hindsight, it was a really good learning experience for me. We actually wound up, as a result of this, again, the universe works in funny ways. The 07 Maroon team became available. Okay. A coach needed to step back from the amount of teams he was doing. So I took over that team halfway through the year. Yep. And it was easy because I already knew the group really, really well. I'd coached them at U10. I'd coached them at U12. Yeah. And I coached them at U13. So I already knew them a lot. All right. And I know all the guys. And like I said, the stars aligned. I had this fire in me because I was a little upset about not being a head coach anymore of an ECNL team. And they went and won, the 07s went and won state. And I think I learned a lot in that maybe 6-month period of, it's not about, again, speaking to the confidence piece that we talked about, it's not about my performance. It's not about me having an ECNL team. That's not what makes me a good coach or anything like that. It's about what I'm doing day to day and the quality of coaching that I'm giving the players. Because I went in with this chip on my shoulder. I was a little annoyed, and I coached like crazy these 07s, and I knew them so well that I could get into them. I had that connection, so I could challenge them day in and day out, second after second. And so that really helped me grow as a coach. It showed me a new level that I could do. And taught me some humility of like, hey man, don't worry about the performance. Don't worry about your team winning. It's helpful to win. It's great to win. It feels awesome to win, but focus on the process. And if you do those things, the win and the success comes.
Would you say that through a road to becoming a coach, and as a coach, that these type of situations are a necessity for your growth? That it's maybe the best way to learn?
Yeah, I mean, we talked a little bit about what separates good players earlier, and I talked about intensity and everything. I think resilience is huge. If you're not willing to, or how a person reacts to something not going their way, whether it's in their control, out of their control, you lose a final, you get injured, you have something go against you, how that person reacts is so telling about where they're at, the skills they have emotionally, and also how they'll be in a couple years from now. Because if you look at anything, any failure, I guarantee you can learn something from it. You know, even you grocery shopping with your mom. Yeah, you can learn something from it.
Exactly. So, this is one of my favorite portions of the show since we implemented it.
Oh my goodness.
You know, I so far I think 4-1. I've lost 4 games, won 1 game.
You've lost 4.
I've lost 4
You can't
games.
say that beforehand, because now if I lose,
The thing is,
now if I lose, it looks really bad, David.
yeah, but
You understand that, right?
yeah. But the thing is,
So you've put some pressure on me.
I let my guards down with my guests because they come on here saying that they've never played the game. So I'm going easy. I'm telling myself, oh, maybe I'm just
No, you're not going easy on anybody. See, so now you definitely, after saying all this, you cannot let me win.
Thing is,
You know that, right?
I don't know how good
Because
you are.
now
We'll
if
find out.
you win,
Uh-huh.
everybody, myself included, is going to think that you let me win. Because now you're building a reputation.
Oh, okay.
And if I lose, then obviously it's very embarrassing for me. Because you've got a reputation.
Yeah.
So I'm going to focus on the process.
I say,
Who goes first, yellow or red?
I like to let the guest go first.
You like to let me go first?
Yeah, honor to the guest.
You sure?
Please do.
I've forgotten all the strategy that goes with this.
This way like this?
Yeah.
All right, great. Let me know if my laptop is in the way. All right, great. Let's go. I want to ask, you've coached a lot of players. You've been coaching for more than 7 years.
I've been at PAC. This is year number 8 at
Number
PAC.
8.
Yeah. And then
Wow.
before that, like I said, I coached at some high schools. So, I mean, I've been coaching since I was 16.
Yeah.
True, like camps and just doing other stuff. But I really, became competitive. This is what I want to do, coach, at about 21.
Okay. My question to you is, with, let's say, the current players that you have, okay, like some players that you and I might know, who's a player you look at and you're like, this guy could end up becoming a coach?
Becoming a coach?
Yeah, and he end up making a good one.
Oh, see, I know why you're asking.
I
know why you're asking that question.
You and I
you're asking that question so that I can shout him out so that he can feel good, because you know that he watches.
we have one person in mind.
Well, there's a lot of people that I think could be good coaches.
Yeah.
I mean, the first one that comes to mind is obviously somebody who's already doing it a little bit.
Yeah.
It's Bruno. He sees the game well. He works hard. He's got a lot of good qualities that contribute to a team. And I think those players tend to make slightly better coaches, because part of being a coach is that you can't make it about yourself. See, now you're throwing me off with simple moves like that. Like, if we just raced like this, I'm going to win. You know that, right?
Yeah, I get that. But
see, now you're going to go here, and then I'm going to go there, and now we're stuck.
Yeah.
So now what do we do?
It's strategic. I've been learning from all the, like you say, we learn from failure.
So yeah, I think, Bruno's maybe an obvious one, but I think there's loads of players currently that could be good coaches.
Yeah.
And then the really fun piece is, I don't know. The really fun piece is there's probably kids out there that I haven't connected with that are going to make fantastic coaches.
Yeah.
Hopefully, But my biggest goal is, some of those kids that I've connected with, had a good time with, that they, feel inspired by me, hopefully, to carry on their love for the game in a different way other than just playing, because sometimes that's the obvious way, right?
Yeah. I want to know, you remember we spoke about Rayanne, about her episode. She spoke about you. About you as a coach, about how much you helped her, and also spoke about the one event as her being keeper. What was it like for you watching it from the sideline?
Well, I'm really happy that you directed me to watch her say that, because I had blocked that out from my memory. I had purposefully just forgotten that. I didn't know what to say when it happened. She's not exaggerating either, by the way. She was literally at the 50-yard line.
Wow.
On her hands and knees, drawing in the sand or the mud, in a penny and goal, and like, it was, and we got scored on, and it was a close game, and so it hurt. But yeah, I mean, she was, that team was very fun. That was my first year at PAC. That was like one of my first teams. there was we played 9v9.
Yeah.
There was only 8 girls on the team.
Yeah.
So I had to pull players every weekend. Had to learn very quickly a lot of the ins and outs of the logistics, the administrative side, hey, we want this player to come on trial. What's all the paperwork that goes into it? What are all the processes? We have to make sure that they, fill out their waivers, that they don't play for another club, because that's a no-no. We have to make sure that we're doing our due diligence to get the right players, the right opportunities. And then at the same time, we have players on that team that are doing well. How do I, as a coach who only has 8 players and needs all of them, send them up from a third team to a second team to train and to play? And, one of the really cool things is I think, Rayanne obviously is now playing collegiately from a third team at U12, which makes me so happy because, again, she's really not exaggerating. It was her first year playing soccer, and it was really, really obvious. So that was funny. And then there's another girl from that team as well that I believe is at SPU.
Okay. You know?
Yeah. Kyliana Ahuna.
Okay.
I don't think she's been on here, but her younger brother plays a pack as well, Kiahi. I know the family really well. I love them to death. And she was like the center back of the group. Thank goodness for her. Otherwise, every game would have been, 8-0. Have you gone yet? There's no way you've gone yet.
Sure you've gone. You're supposed to go.
If I go, I'm winning right now, David. I'm pretty sure it's your turn. I have 7 down.
Okay. Then it's
and
me.
you have 6.
What do you win? Oh, yes.
Goodness, David.
I've been learning. I'm
getting worried about you, dude.
I have a question. What are some common mistakes you encounter in young players understanding the game, and how do you address them?
I mean, mistakes is hard because young players, that's all they do.
Yeah.
Everything that we do, there's always somebody that can find something that we can do better. Even, me in my day to day, there's something I can do better. So looking at a youth player who's just inexperienced and trying to differentiate between a lack of experience, something that they haven't learned yet, and something that they have learned and are failing at, is difficult at times. But I think the biggest things that I think youth players need to know are, number one, just how rare it is to go pro. I think there's a lot of players that don't necessarily understand that it's the top 1% of 1%. It's 0.0.
That's crazy.
It's the tiniest percentile of people that go professional.
Yeah.
And so I get, 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds that are telling me they want to go pro, and I go, that's fantastic. That's awesome. I love that you have that dream. What are you going to do to get there? Remember, we got to be process focused. So it's really, really important that they understand, hey, if this is really what I want to do, this is difficult. And it's not, I don't want to point out to them how difficult it is to discourage them. I want to point out how difficult it is to inspire them to go do more, work, so that they might be successful.
Exactly. Yeah.
Not to say, don't bother.
Yeah.
Because that's not what I want to do to any player. Anybody can do anything. And I mean, look, there's loads of players. N'Golo Kante, Jamie Vardy are the famous ones, right? That have come from lower leagues, that have done it later in life. So there's always opportunity. But the big thing is the recognition of, if I want to do this, it's going to be a lot of hard work.
That's true.
And then being willing to put in that hard work, obviously, is the next thing. So I think there's that. In terms of actual soccer specific stuff, I think the players really, more often than not, and again, this is hard to judge because a lot of them are young, don't see themselves as a function of the larger team.
Okay.
Know what I mean by that is you're a defender. You're so busy doing your job, defending the guy that making sure the striker doesn't score, making sure that you block his shots, that you can defend his 1v1s, that you win headers, that you do those things, that you get the ball and pass it to the right teammate. You're so busy doing those things that you forget that you're a part of a back 4 or a back 3, right? You forget that there's a guy next to you.
Yeah.
And you forget that if your line isn't proper, well, now somebody can sneak in on sides. So part of your job is not just you and the opponent and the ball and that, but it's you relating to the guy next to you. And I think players that can comprehend more of those things are more likely to be successful. Yeah. Players that can comprehend me as a part of the line that I'm in, and me as the part of the two lines that I'm connected with, and me as a part of the whole team. Yeah. Those players have a deeper understanding of the full game.
Yeah. You're not winning this. I don't think that this game looks like there's going to be a winner.
Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah. You know.
I'm just trying to stop you from winning.
You're just trying to stop me from
winning. I have to save my own humiliation. You know, I can't I can't allow that to happen.
I had people, even some of your players, come up to me and just tell me, David, I watched the episode. You were not good at that Connect 4. They wanted to slide. No way. I see it.
You saw it already?
I saw that.
Okay,
just making. If you put a red here, you pretty much got a full here or
just
full right there.
Just making sure.
I was thinking,
just making sure that you saw it. Okay. We have to make sure. We have to keep you on your toes sometimes.
What is the best advice you have for any player, regardless of their age group? I know one thing, like from even being coaching games by you, it's one thing that you always tell us, even like before kickoff, is to love it, to go out there and just love it. I of course I do my tiny bit of research, and I saw, there's one a part where you posted something and then you say, remember the most important thing, and then you put love it and all caps.
We just talked about how hard it is to go pro.
Yeah.
It's hard to be a full-time coach like I am. It's really difficult to do. You're not trying. What are you? You're making sneaky moves, thinking you're gonna catch me off guard.
Yes, I was going back and forth because I was.
It's really difficult to make soccer a living.
Yeah.
It's also difficult to play soccer your whole life, just in general.
Yeah.
And I want people to have as positive an experience as I've had with the game. Yeah. And have them want to do it that way. So with that, they have to love it, because if you don't love it, as soon as something gets hard, you're not going to want to push through. So the enjoyment of it comes first. If you don't enjoy it, you're going to quit, truthfully. And that's not me being mean, but if you're there because you like it or it's convenient, you're not gonna hang out with the game much longer.
It's true. I think I'm sure that's definitely not Connect 4. You also coach Washington Elite Player Development. What age group do you coach?
So last year I did the 09s. Which was super fun. This year I have yet to have a session. I think it's this upcoming weekend, but I have the boys 2013s.
What do you make of coaching with the elite player development?
Oh, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
First off, it's I take a lot of pride in representing the state.
Yeah.
Like that's an important thing to me, David.
What,
buddy? Come on.
Now I'm not actually letting you win.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate it because now I'm like trying to think of my answers, but I'm thinking of this. It's good. You're throwing me off. No, it's really enjoyable. So I enjoy representing. Every time I put that shirt on, it means something to me. Every time I put the pack shirt on, it means something to me as well. I think you need to take pride in what you do, and I played back then. It was ODP, but played for the state and played in all this, and so it's fun to do. I think it's enjoyable. It's a new experience for a lot of players. There's a lot of players out there that are, maybe not in ECNL teams, that are still top quality players. They play for smaller clubs. They live 3 hours away, who knows? Yeah. But they don't necessarily have the opportunity to play day in and day out with that top level competition the same way that a lot of kids that are in this greater Seattle area do. Yeah. And so for those kids, I think it's the most fun in the world. I love getting those kids the opportunity. I love trying to find those kids and make them successful or help them be successful. Yeah. Because that's really cool. The ECNL kids, they'll be fine. They're playing at such a high level constantly and they get so much soccer, they'll be okay. I enjoy working with them because of the intensity they bring, the quality they bring. Yeah. Like the 09 group, you know, the quality of those players. I mean, basically all of them are Sounders Academy players now. They're fantastic. Yeah. So in that way, it's very fun to work with a high caliber of player. Yeah. Are you putting those away because you lost, or what? Are you giving up?
No. Because
what's going on here?
Time of the matter, we can't finish the game.
We can't finish. What are you talking about?
Because I can let you play.
Make your move. Make your move.
If I make my next move, it's not a win, and I know that.
Make your move. Then go faster. If time is the problem, go faster. If time is the problem, go faster. See, you already blocked yourself off, dude.
Wait. What?
You can't get 4 there.
Yeah,
you're already blocked.
I was trying
You're not gonna get 4 there. Stop. Trying to stop me from getting 4.
I don't know.
Where is there 4 there?
Wherever.
Where is there 4 there?
Wherever I can. I'm getting you up.
You're going crazy, dude.
I am going crazy. I want to ask quick fire question. Favorite team? If you were watching, you have to sit there and watch a game. One team. What's your favorite team?
Man City.
Man City. What makes Man City so likable for you?
Their coach.
Their coach, yeah.
But at the same time, I would also say Brighton. I would say Barcelona. I would say, dude.
Wait, did you get it? Oh!
There's no way.
Yo, no. I'm gonna tell you.
He's not serious.
I'm gonna. Me?
Yeah, you know him.
Where?
Like when you're blocking on the other side.
Yeah.
That side.
Yeah.
When you're blocking over there, you get a chance to put one.
Here?
On the third row from that side.
Oh
from
man.
that side in the third row.
Oh, here maybe.
Right? On top of that.
Well.
So when you put the yellow, I think over there you get a chance to put it there, but you put it on the other side, you didn't put it there.
No, you want to know my thought process? My thought process is I'm looking at this and I know if I put something here, he puts another one here and makes connect 4. So I tell myself, okay, I have to block him from winning here, and I do not.
Yeah, that's the fun of the game. Hey, that was a close game though.
That was a good game.
That was a good one.
That was a good game.
We got a lot further into that than I
we
thought.
Made it I mean, we filled up the whole thing almost. That's the first time.
That's how it should go.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's back to the question of the soccer stuff. I think that Man City is enjoyable to watch. Yeah. I enjoy watching Brighton. I think Roberto De Zerbi is incredible. Yeah. Right now, I'm enjoying watching Bayer Leverkusen.
Okay. Oh yeah, with
Xabi Alonso.
They've been doing really great.
They play a pretty unique style. Everybody's really enjoying the box midfields at the moment. Yeah. And they do it in a slightly unique way. So I enjoy it.
And as much as it sucks, we're coming to the end of the podcast. But there's one thing I always ask every guest, because I love what I do. I don't know how long this is going, how hard. I know like what I want out of this. I know like a goal. Okay, I'm looking at the what's it called, the end of the mountain, but I mostly look at the people I bring on the podcast, and at the end of the question, I always ask them this one question regarding themselves and regarding their career. So, assuming Coach Axel was watching 5 years from now, and he somehow still cared about the podcast for 5 years from now, and he still had the link, and you had to give yourself a message from 5 years from now, it could be you looking at it in 2 years, looking at that camera right there as if you're speaking to yourself in 5 years. What would you like to tell yourself?
Oh man, this is a lot of pressure.
Yes, it is. To this day, I personally don't have an answer for myself, for my own message. But assuming you were having your own message, Coach Axel was watching 5 years from now, maybe something you would like to consistently remember and never forget.
Should I like intently stare at
it? Yeah, because you know, if
for myself, I'm gonna stare into my own soul real quick. Hold on, this is gonna be an intimate moment for me. Make every second count. That's it. That's it. You only get so many seconds.
Second count.
You only get so many seconds. You only get so many minutes. You only get so much time on this planet, man. And you have to do what you love with it, and you have to make sure that whatever you're doing is what you want to do.
Bro, that's beautiful, and that's one of the best 4 words I ever said on the podcast. Maybe
we'll see. We'll see in 5 years.
We'll see in 5 years, and of course, I think it's just great. I think I bring a lot, like literally, I think I've done that with every players, and each of them are doing each of the thing. Every player that comes here, I hope people understand. But my selection has never been like he's a better player, so he has to be on the podcast. It's really just it's literally anybody, because the way I see it with Inside Out Football, it's like even the name, I came up with it, and I literally sat there and I'm like, is this the name I want for long term? And I've been watching the Disney movie Inside Out, Yeah. So
I love them. I love that movie.
You love it?
Yeah. Funnily enough, my wife is a mental health counselor.
Yeah.
She's literally talked people off of a bridge. Like
Okay.
I'm not joking. Therapy is what she does.
Mm-hmm.
And that movie is so incredibly accurate to how we process emotions. That movie is amazing. Yeah. Everybody should watch that movie.
What I love so much about that movie is perspective, from the joyful, sad, angry, and that's what I think it's all about. This is all about perspective. But that's why it's called inside and out, inside out, and that's inside and outside perspective. And I think I try. I hope every player, every coaches, every person that watches this gets to have an inside perspective from what it's like to be a coach, gets to like have an inside perspective what it's like to be a player, and and hopefully just help them through their development. Really, like I was saying at the start of the show, even if I were gone and I don't know whatever happened, I hope that the channel still carries I hope that the channel does not carry a person for like 20 years, but it carries those values. My brother's in the running to get my channel. He wants it.
He's practicing already.
He's already.
He's in the bedroom doing monologues. And working on his
funny
technique.
Enough, not only him, there's a lot of people that want him. Like
cool.
Etienne Vera.
Yeah.
He wants to host a channel. He told me, David, if you ever have to be sitting as a guest on the podcast, I want to be the one. But
yeah, you'll have to do it. You'll have to do a outside inside one where you flip the script and we interview you.
Yeah,
you'll have to.
But honestly, I have to just end by saying how grateful I am to have you on the podcast. And some people ask me what's your favorite episode. I can never say or like what my favorite guest. I can never say this is my favorite guest because I don't have a producer or like a boss behind me that says get Axel, get Pedro, don't get this person. I pick and choose whoever I want on the podcast. Yeah. So I must love whoever I pick on my podcast, because after this I have to go ahead and put hours into editing, hours into posting, sometimes sleeping really late because it's something I care about, the person I care about. And when they ask me who's my favorite guest, he's not my favorite. It's not although he was like better than anybody else. I'll say Pedro for one reason. Pedro sets stones. He sets a stone. He doesn't comprehend it now. He will understand it later. But like he starts a lot. Like he starts it all. Like everything from to this point. I think Pedro's episode had to go a certain way for another person to say, I like that. I want to come. And I think that's my favorite guest because he starts it all. He starts sewing, the stone into this empire of a dream I have. And you now just sets another stone, and first one set stone as the first coach on the podcast, and to insight of the coach and look at it and say yes. So I thank you for coming on the podcast. If you have any message you'd like to tell anybody watching, something you'd like to tell them?
No, just keep doing what you're doing. Like I said, to be on here is awesome. I thank you for the passion and time and work that you put into it. It clearly shows, and hopefully we can do it again sometime.
Yeah. Hopefully, whenever you want, I'm here. I hope you think we're still good enough for Coach Axel. Yeah. I want to thank everybody for watching the podcast. I'm extremely grateful. You guys mean a lot to me because you watch it, although I can't exactly see the numbers, like, this one view is this person, but you mean a lot to me because you care enough to sit there and watch it and still supports this vision and all. Like I say to many people, we don't do it for the money. I swear a lot of people see the podcast. The one question they ask me, I promise you, every people, how much money do you make from it? They see the material, the setup, the time we put in. The first question is how much money you put in it, but like all the effort I do it, I'm not like getting anything back, but just the satisfaction and just that some people, this is career, life can change. I had a player from Pike who texted me, say, I watch your videos and I watch all these athletes talk to their story, and that inspires me so much. Just that one person is enough for me to go the next day and sit there for 9 hours on my table on my laptop and just edit. And I thank you guys again for watching the podcast. I thank you, Coach Axel, for coming, being the first ever coach on the podcast. We'll see you guys next week with another episode. Bye.